Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to our annual Entertaining with Tea. It's lovely to be able to be with you all again, and really love that so many of you tune in live for this, but also so many of you go back and rewatch this. I know I say this when we do Entertaining with Tea, and also when we do ICE TV in the summer. But one of the things that I love so much about this is, as you all know, I create a lot of recipes that we publish on our blog as well as through SIP. But I'm always amazed and always surprised because I learn something new from every single one of our guests every single time we do this. So I'm immensely grateful. And I think it's really just a representation of how truly diverse tea is. I mean, the fact that we're all tea lovers kind of goes without saying. I realize we're preaching to the choir here, but I think that, if we can think about tea outside of what we traditionally think of it as, a cup that we brew in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, whatever the case may be, but that there are so many different ways to utilize this fantastic beverage, and to really think of it as an ingredient. So with that said, I have some fantastic guests that are going to join me over the next few weeks. And I can't think of a better person to start out with than the one and only Stephen Twining. Stephen really needs no introduction, but alas, I must always introduce my guests. Stephen Twining is, yes, indeed, the namesake, the one and only of Twinings Tea. He is 10th generation of the famous tea family, and he knew that he wanted to become involved in the family business from the very tender age of 8. I think it's hard for me to imagine that one would even have a choice that one would end up in tea with a name like Twining, but he did indeed make that choice. He joined Twinings in 1985, and after 9 years in a variety of jobs in sales, Stephen transferred to head office in Andover, where he's currently Director of Corporate Relations, incorporating media relations and business visits to Asia, Australia, Europe, Scandinavia, the Middle East, as well as North and South America. So I would to say hello to Stephen. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
I'm very well and delighted to see you.
It's so nice to have you back as always. You always say yes when we ask, and for that, I'm immensely grateful. Thank you.
Well, like you, we're on a campaign to open people's eyes to the possibilities of this great gift of nature and what you can do with it. So yes, always.
So are you getting ready for the holidays, Stephen?
Oh yes, I bought some presents. I've written some cards, so we're getting there.
Good. I hear you've actually had some snow in the UK. Is that right?
And that was up north, so
Okay.
yes, I'm way down in the south, and so happily haven't encountered the snow yet. But yeah, it's a chilly 4 degrees, 39 Fahrenheit here today.
All right.
Yeah, but which is nowhere near your temperature of 29 or -1, I believe.
That's true. But I have to say it's been unseasonably warm so far, and I'm always skeptical about that because I know that it's just going to suddenly hit us like, a slap in the face, as it always does. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're not here to discuss weather. You are going to share some delicious recipes as always. And little birdie tells me that you have a punch that you're going to share with me, as well as an indulgent chai. And I'm
Yeah.
always up for anything that includes the word indulgent.
Great. So I've taken the liberty of actually brewing the tea, and just as you were running that fabulous introductory video, which I really like, my little timer went off. So on this occasion, I am going to squeeze the tea bags because I want to get all the liquid I can get hold of. And I brewed them both at the same time, gave them a full 5 minutes. And yeah, taking the strong English breakfast out for the Christmas tea punch first, because I don't want any chai in that. And now into the punch goes the 6 ice cubes, and into the chai goes 8 ice cubes.
Okay, so you're chilling these down.
Going to chill them straight down as the ice melts. It is fantastically quick. A teaspoonful of sugar. I never normally put sugar in tea, but on this occasion, the recipe requires it. So I've gone with a sugar lump, and we'll just stir that in. And yeah, the cooling process it always surprises me how quickly you can get a drink from hot to a decent temperature in next to no time. I'm just going to give it an extra minute. And while that is going on, for the tea punch, we need some lemon juice. Lemon juice will lighten the tea.
Oh, nice.
So I've gone with the Twinings extra strong English breakfast.
Okay.
Which is got a lot of Assam tea in it. That will naturally go cloudy when you ice it down. But that doesn't matter, because on this occasion we're going to put in some. I've gone for the smooth orange juice, the one with that, the bits in, and it's a teaspoonful of the lemon juice and two teaspoonfuls of the orange juice.
Okay.
And we'll give that a bit of a stir. And I have to say that I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can't see it yet.
Not yet.
To me, it's a lovely seasonal colour. The way it turns out, and actually having the Assam in there, a little bit of cloudiness just sort of adds to that. But we'll get to that. How's the temperature doing? That's good. Right. I'm now moving. No, let's finish off the Christmas punch. So.
Okay.
We need a full teaspoonful of Cointreau.
Oh, hello. Okay, now we're talking. So we started with a strong breakfast tea, right? That's our base?
That's our base.
Okay.
That little lump of sugar just is going to, as you cool tea down, actually the sugar helps to hold the flavour. And for this one, I'm going for an Empress 1908 gin from the other side of Canada. This is the particular one is elderflower and rose, which is just going to give it a little nuance.
So that's why the gin is that dark color?
Yeah, so it's elderflower and rose gin. Lovely, very pretty
delicious.
In its own right. Sadly, the colour will get lost in this, but
nice.
Just the flavoured gin. You can use a straight gin. That's how I originally brewed it, and that was fine. You could at this stage add mint leaves. Sadly, my mint is looking very sad in the garden at the moment, so I didn't go with that. But I am going to garnish the glass with a slice of orange just to give it that festive feel.
Oh, what a gorgeous color.
Isn't it? To me, oh yeah, I can't pour, but you can't see the mess. It sort of says Christmas in a glass, doesn't it?
It honestly does. That's beautiful. Now, there are so many, I think one of the great things about, gins and vodkas, but gins in particular, is there's so many distillers now that are really experimenting with different types of gins, right?
Very much so, yeah. Certainly bergamot often features in gin, which is obviously the base of Earl Grey, and that's really exciting, and they make great drinks. And also the mixers of these days. But tea is a mixer. So I'm going to leave that to sit there. I'll have a little taste in a minute, because I better not start tasting in the middle, otherwise I might not finish the indulgent chai.
Might be
so
fun.
I've gone with our regular chai. You could equally well use the French vanilla chai, but to me, I just want the indulgent and the spiciness. The vanilla will give it a little creamier texture. And for this, I need 250 ml. So I brewed 4 chai tea bags in 200 ml of water. So we're talking a really intense flavour coming through here. Full 5 minutes. And we'll just check that, yes, there's sufficient. So that's now 250 ml of liquid, into which we're going to add 300 ml, and I'm going for a Bombay Sapphire on this occasion. 300 ml of that, and 450 ml of an Irish cream. That's
yum.
Really going to give it that indulgent, creamy texture.
That's okay. That's where the promised indulgence comes from.
Oh yes, it's going to deliver. Trust me. So we'll put all that in, and this is my impromptu. I thought we went to the cupboard thinking, oh yes, they must have a cocktail shaker, and sadly we don't. So I'm improvising today, but we'll give it a shake, mix it all up, and then we need a nice glass to present it into, and
oh, delish. Yeah,
absolutely. And the final, very easy touch is just a little bit of cinnamon. I love the way in your introduction that you had cinnamon next to the tea, because I mean, it's just one of the great ingredients and works so well with so many different types of tea.
Great combination. So tell me, with the punch, would you, if you were entertaining, would you make like in a nice traditional punch bowl?
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
And then have a nice ladle to serve it out. The punch does come with a health warning, and that is that it is classic cocktail that you don't know it's a cocktail.
Yes.
So it is very easy drinking. It is it's the orange juice, the Cointreau's helping with that. You're getting the citrus notes from the lemon. The tea carries it really nicely. Very tasty, but terribly easy to think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. So you have been warned. It's delicious. It's a classic cocktail. You're getting great flavors. You're going to know, but it. The punch will be internal. It's not going to smack you in the mouth or in your senses, but yes, that's where the punch comes from.
That's fantastic. And for both of them, just super simple ingredients. I mean, I know that you used a fancy gin for the punch, but you can use any kind of gin, really, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Of course. I just thought, being a Canadian gin, it was rather fun to introduce you into the cocktail since I'm talking to you.
Even better, Stephen. I have to say that we've got some fantastic distillers here in Canada doing some really great gins. And the Rose Gin, there's Dylan's Gin here in Ontario, makes a really nice rose gin that is to die for. Yeah. So I'm going to grab that and try it.
Excellent. A little bit of just a nuance of flavor in the background, just changes it up just a fraction. And little things we can do to make the experiences better, we're going to do them.
Well, you know what? As you say, it's just making it a little bit special. And I've said this before, I love it when people use fancy glasses for their tea, because we need to celebrate tea as well, right? It's not, take it out of the ordinary.
Yeah, get the good stuff out, use it, and
exactly. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, as always, Mr. Twining, it is a delight to see you, a delight to chat with you, and love the recipes. I will definitely be trying both of them. And I wish you a very Merry Christmas.
And to you.
The very best for the new year.
Likewise.
Good. We'll see you again in 24.
For sure. Take care. Right. Cheerio.
Take care. Bye, Stephen. Bye. Ah, what fun. Alrighty, so we're off to a roaring start with indulgence and festivities. And, for those of you, and we're going to talk about this, I think, over the next few weeks as well. Entertaining and holidays and indulgences tend to include alcohol. But I think that what's really wonderful about tea and flavor profiles of tea is that you don't necessarily have to do the alcohol portion of it. You could really layer the flavors and those flavor nuances that Stephen's put together without any of the alcohol, if that's not what you want, and still make something special. I still implore you to pull out your martini glasses and your beautiful crystal rock glasses and champagne flutes and coupe glasses and wine glasses and all the wonderful accoutrements and tableware that we have that we tend to save for special occasions. pull them out and use them. Use them every single day and celebrate what you're doing every single day because you know what? Why not? And with that, I am going to introduce my second guest to you. Again, really needs no introduction. Will Dixon, you have seen Will before, always share some delicious recipes with us. Will, as Stephen just did, will be zooming in with us from the United Kingdom. Will is a tea buyer at the wonderful Taylors of Harrogate, the home of Yorkshire tea. He's been with the company since 2012, where he started as a trainee tea buyer. And Will has traveled to so many countries to visit tea estates: China, Ethiopia, India, Indonesia, Kenya, Malawi, Rwanda, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, Uganda. I'm sure the list goes on beyond that. But always my favorite little tidbit about Will is that before he became a tea buyer, he was a sheep farmer in the Scottish borders, something I'm sure trained him and prepared him well to become a tea buyer. I don't know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but I know that Will always has some fantastic recipes for us. Hi, Will, how are you?
Hi, Shabnam. Good, thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Oh gosh, thank you for joining us. It's always lovely to see you, and always so kind of you to stay late and do this with us. Before we start, though, you are in the tasting room. Do you have tasting cups set up behind you?
Yeah, tasting cups there. So that's
gorgeous.
Full row of. We've got about, I think it's 52 on each side, 4 sides down
Amazing.
the back of me there. Yeah.
4 sides.
Yeah.
So you're tasting over 200 teas.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's that repetition. Yeah, generally a side at a time, and then reload and go again. Basically, in the busier times, so the peak seasons generally when the Assam teas are coming in our summertime, that tends to be our busiest part of the year.
Yeah. So I'm a sucker for symmetries, which is what caught my eye because you have absolute perfection set up left and right of you. So thank you for that. That warms my heart.
No, not a problem. It's a good time about doing it this time of day. The sale room's empty. Most people have gone, well, only just gone home. It's not too late here in the UK yet. So.
Okay. All righty. So, Will, you are making 2 recipes for us.
Yep. 2 desserts today.
I was just going to say, we're not drinking, we're eating.
Yeah.
You're going to do one of my favorite desserts, which is a panna cotta. Yeah. And then you're going to show us your version of a rice pudding. And I have to say, rice pudding is one of those things that I think we all have a version of it that from home.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm really interested to see your version of this. So,
so little tweak on both, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I'm driving home tonight after this. So yes, we stuck with food today rather than drinks. So yeah, the first thing, yes. So we're doing a bubble tea panna cotta, basically. So sort of full circle on a bubble tea. So bubble tea, for those that don't know, created in Taiwan. Someone basically mixed a dessert with a cup of tea and they created bubble tea. So we're going full circle and taking that bubble tea back to be the dessert today.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd never made panna cotta before, I'll be honest with you. I always put off a bit by, well, using gelatin essentially. It sounded rather complicated, but it's very simple. So we'll go through the steps today. So again, we're doing milk both times today. I was thinking, well, what can you flavor tea? What will tea impose its flavor on? So milk was an obvious choice. So a bit of prep work on this. Obviously, we're starting with cold ingredients. So we're going to infuse the tea bags a bit. So the day before, I put essentially we're using the Taylors of Harrogate Green Jasmine Tea Today tea bags.
Perfect.
So I put some in 150 ml of milk overnight and some in 400 ml of double cream overnight, just to help that flavor come across.
Okay.
Infuse into the milk. So a little bit of pre-prep on that. I also made a sugar syrup in advance as well. So that was 150 ml of brewed jasmine green tea with 300 grams of caster sugar. So made that in advance because I'm going to use that later in the recipe as well.
Okay.
But again, you don't need to do it the day before. You can always add the tea bags as you're warming the ingredients, essentially. So the milk infused, some cream. I'm going to lift the milk again because I don't have a sample of cream here. But yes, mix them together in a pan with 60 grams of caster sugar. Just bring it to a simmer. And then when it comes off the simmer, take it off the heat. When it starts to simmer, take it off the heat. And this is when you come to your gelatin. So this, for those that haven't seen it before, a gelatin sheet.
Yep.
So 5 minutes before you need it, you put the gelatin sheet, or in this case, 2.5 gelatin sheets, in some cold water, just to start the various processes happening.
The blooming, I believe it's called.
Is okay, the blooming. I'll remember that one, Shabnam. So you start off, and then it obviously goes a bit moist, rubbery. So once you're ready to add it to the pan you've just taken off the water, off the heat, give it a bit of a squeeze to get rid of any excess water. Put it in the pan. Sorry, this is very descriptive rather than visual.
No.
We will come on to visuals in a second. And then stir essentially until all the gelatin is dissolved. And it's as simple as that, really, to make your panna cotta. Then basically pour it into ramekins, stick it in the fridge, and let it settle. So far, we've got the cream, the milk, the sugar, and the infusion from the jasmine tea, essentially.
Right.
So put it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Take it back out. So once it comes out, I don't know if it's, again, I've picked bag colour plates today. I've put white plates and a lot of white ingredients today. Can you see the panna cotta?
I can totally see the panna cotta.
It's melted a little. It's a bit warm in here today. So it has run a little, but yes, got our basic shape. So
perfect.
Now we're going to add the bubble tea side. So tapioca pearls, for those that haven't seen them, I bought quick cook pouches. So these only take 5 minutes to cook. Essentially, tapioca, a starch that originates from the cassava plant in Brazil. They essentially look like that. You put them in boiling water. They start to rise to the top. You leave them to simmer for 5 minutes, and that's them cooked, essentially. So at that point, I put the cooked tapioca pearls in with the sugar syrup, and we get something that looks a bit like this when they're cooked. So I've got green tea flavoured tapioca pearls today, just to stick with the rest of the recipe.
I was just going to say, how did you get that color? Okay.
It looks a bit like frog spawn today. Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. And then I'm not sure how this will work, but then we're basically just going to decorate the panna cotta with the tapioca pearls.
Oh, gorgeous.
A bit on top, a bit round the sides, as many as you'd like. And they're essentially your bubble tea panna cotta. I did also try putting the panna cottas in the ramekin as well. You can do it that way around. You can get, if the sugar crystallizes a bit, you can get quite a hard base that turns into a topping as well. It just depends on your own preference, but I quite liked adding them on the side, and you can make sure you get a mouthful of the bobber pearls along with the panna cotta at the same time. And then you've also got that jasmine sugar syrup to add that additional kick of jasmine, because it is quite delicate in the panna cotta.
Yeah, no, love it. And you know, you can add some cranberries on top of that, and you've got a beautiful white, green, and red.
Yeah, exactly. Christmas colours, yes. So yeah, it looks stunning. Tastes very nice as well, to be fair.
Perfect.
And very simple. So simple. I hadn't made it before. If you've never made panna cotta, just give it a go. It's 10-15 minutes and you're there, and it tastes fantastic.
Well, good for you for trying it. I think that people tend to shy away from ingredients that they don't normally work with. And, you know, let's face it, gelatin is not something that's in our everyday repertoire for most of us. So, but super simple, because really all you did was you took a traditional recipe and you infused the tea into the liquid, and then you just carry on, right? I keep telling people that's it. It's not rocket science. It really isn't.
Yeah, and it works well with the green jasmine, because that's a very popular bubble tea flavour as well in the UK. Green jasmine milk as well, so it works well with whatever flavour is pearls. So these ones I showed before, these are lychee flavour as well, or you can get the black sugar ones, the traditional darker ones. So yeah, whichever flavour, whichever you can get your hand on, whichever flavours you like, whichever tea you like, use whichever tea. Yeah,
but I mean, for the holidays, the green was perfect. So
good.
Okay. So now comes the rice pudding. Now I'm taking notes.
Okay. So again, yes, just a twist. Again, what could we flavour? Again, it's the milk. So I started off, again, it's going to be a chai rice pudding. So again, pick whichever flavours of chai you like. I've gone with fairly straightforward to start with today. So I've got some cinnamon, I've got some cardamom. So to start off with, I was making my milk tea recipe, which I've taken for different events. So I made a milk tea, but essentially a chai. So I took milk, basically you're boiling. In this case, we've got the Yorkshire loose black leaf tea.
Yep.
We basically put that in the milk. It works quite well with the milk because it's quite a small leaf size for the loose leaf tea. So it infuses into the milk very well. So you bring the milk to the boil with the loose leaf tea in and the sugar. So you get a very strong concoction of, you can see there, hopefully you can see a very dark colored milk and sugar. So it's very strong. So generally after that, I would then double the volume, add a bit more milk just to start with, but there's no reason you couldn't boil all the milk at the same time. And sorry, skipped a step there. I also added the cardamom seeds. So cardamom pods there, crush them open, get the little black seeds out from the middle, grind them up and put them in the milk as it's boiling. And it's worth doing that just for the aroma of the cardamom because it's a beautiful smell on its own. So also adding that flavour, but you get a beautiful aroma as well. So again, put them in at this stage or second stage. I've put them in at this stage because once the milk is boiled and you take it or simmered, approaching boiling, take it off the heat and strain it. So it strains out all the black tea essentially, and any leftover bits of cardamom seed in there as well. So that's why I've done it this way around. But equally, you could add. So
you cook all of that directly in the milk, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry to pause you for just 1 second because I think it's worth talking to people about the tea that you use, because I think that you know, in terms of, because you mentioned that it's a small cut leaf, right?
Yeah.
And explain to everybody why that's so important for a chai. Yeah.
So if you'll know yourselves between tea bag tea and loose leaf tea. Tea bag tea is a lot smaller, so it infuses a lot quicker, and that's due to this exposure of the liquid, milk or water, with the surface area of the tea. And when you've got smaller cut leaf, there's a lot more surface area exposed to that liquid. So it gives a stronger brew and a quicker brew. So when you're wanting to flavour something, a delicate flavour like tea, to get it across to something that's quite a strong flavour or something that you want to punch through, smaller leaf is better because it will create a stronger infusion.
Perfect.
Stronger liquor, sorry, stronger liquor.
Okay, so we have our chai all infused in our milk.
Yep. So essentially, you could drink that as is if you want. If you want to drink the chai or cool it down and make a milk tea,
extra.
You could stop there. And it's nice on its own. Very sweet. Takes a bit of getting used to. Very sweet, but quite a luxurious drink. But we're going to keep taking next further. So then we're going to add some additional milk. Again, we're going to put it in an oven-proof pan, oven-proof dish. Sorry. Add the liquid. So you've got about 200 ml of the liquor. Then you're going to have another 200 ml of milk. Then we're going to add some pudding rice. Yep. You can see there. So about 40 grams of pudding rice. Mix it all together. Then we're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So again, back to cinnamon. Obviously a very festive flavouring. So works well again at this time of the year. Add that in. Stick it in the oven on a low temperature. So I did about 130 degrees Celsius. Because again, you don't want too high a temperature because the milk will just boil over the pan, the dish essentially, and you'll end up having to clean the oven out. So low temperature, leave it for a long time. So it was about just over an hour and a half I did it for last night when I was cooking this one.
Okay, so you take the rice. You said pudding rice. So for those of us who don't understand pudding rice, it's a short grain rice that you're
using.
Very
short grain rice, yes, basically, yes. So typically sold as in the UK. I'm not sure in Canada, but it's advertised as pudding rice basically in the UK. But yes, I think it's sold as arborio here, so it's the same. Okay, a bit like similar size to the stuff you use for risottos. Essentially, that sort of size we're looking at.
So for those of you in North America looking for pudding rice, the translation is arborio. It's the same rice that we use for rice pudding. For risotto. So you put the rice in its raw state into your chai mixture, and you just cook that in the oven then.
Yep, cook in the oven. Add the cinnamon, cook in the oven, and then just leave it. Some people do it on the pan maybe, but traditionally in the UK, my family, we've always done it in the oven. Just put it on. Let it cook away, and the benefits of this, you get those nice aromas in the house, but you've got the addition of cardamom and cinnamon in this case to add those flavors. So again, if you're not in a rush and the oven's on, stick it in the oven. It'll warm the house up a bit as well. So, and then you can control the texture because some people like it runny, some people like it quite solid. So depending on your own preference, you can leave it in a little longer, a little less if you want a milkier version or a stronger version. Then after a couple of hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, you take it out. And you can eat it warm, or in this case, we're going to chill it overnight and eat it cold today. Now, I have to apologise. It's not the most photogenic dessert at this point, but you can see that's my cold version. It's been in the fridge a while, so it doesn't look amazing.
Oh, but look for everybody to understand. I mean, it's the tea, the chai that's done that to the color.
Yeah, it's taken that flavour from the the milk tea that we saw, the chai,
delish.
and it's infused into the rice.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add some toppings as well. So toppings of choice. Today, I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of desiccated coconut over mine.
Oh,
but
perfect.
then again, a bit like snow. So again, seasonal. You could also add those berries. So again, some cranberries in there.
Yeah.
Something green. You could always throw a few tapioca pearls on top if you wanted. But then anything like dried fruit, dried nuts, anything that you like. So something like pistachios would go nice as well.
Nice.
And any flavors you like, just to add that additional bit of luxury and bit of flavor, and also texture. Desiccated coconut, lovely texture when you're eating it as well.
Huh. Okay, so I'm going to have to try your method. My mother makes hers by sitting. She stands over the stove and she stirs it and stirs it. And we all love when she makes rice pudding, but I think she secretly curses at all of us when we ask for it because it takes forever. So I'm going to try your method and
you can just ignore. Stick it in the oven, and worst case scenario, it goes a bit dry. Just add a bit more milk in, and you can get it back to that texture that you like it being.
Brilliant.
And also cools it down quicker if you want to eat it quickly, and you don't have the patience to wait for it to cool down.
No, I definitely don't have patience. Love that, Will. Thank you so much for sharing those with us today. Lovely. And really traditional recipes that we all know and love with a twist on it. Cheers to you. Thank you for coming and sharing this with us today. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Lovely to be here again. So thank you again, and happy holidays to all the watchers today.
Thanks, Will. Really a treat as always. Take care and enjoy those treats.
Good to see you.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care. Oh, yum. Okay. So I am definitely going to try that method for rice pudding, because I have to admit, as much as I love rice pudding, I never make it, because rice pudding to me, as I just explained to Will, is visions of my mother sitting over the stove for an hour, just stirring and stirring and stirring, and you can't stop because you don't want it to get a bottom, and you don't want to get that milk bottom, and you also don't want the skin at the top, and you don't want it to overboil, and blah, 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 blah. So it always seemed like a lot of work to me. I'm going to try Will's method, and infusing it with tea. Well, that's a no-brainer, so I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you as always, Will. And my next guest is the wonderful Breanne Day. Breanne is the Canadian sales manager for the much-loved Yogi Tea. She's worked in a variety of sales roles for purpose-driven companies, which I can definitely attest to. Yogi Tea is one of them as well, and is passionate about the role that business plays in creating positive change for people and the planet. At Yogi, they create flavor-forward teas that support well-being. Their functional teas are designed to inspire and enhance everyday life, wanting to help bring a moment of mindfulness to each of our days. And nothing is better. Whoops, almost threw you out, Breanne. I wanted to add you, not remove you. How are you, Breanne? It's lovely to see you.
Great. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm really good. So this is your first adventure with Entertaining with Tea with us.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us. We are in great company, and it's been so fun to see what everyone else has been cooking up, and just enjoying the entire experience. Great.
Wonderful. Well, it's as I said at the very, very top, we do Entertaining with Tea at this time of year into December, and then in the summer we do Ice TV. And every single time we do this, I think, okay, we're going to have repetition. We never do. People always come up with something different, something new, something interesting. And I personally, who do a lot of cooking with tea, always come away with something that I've learned that I'm going to take back to try. So no pressure, but it's always a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun. So tell me, what are you making for us today, Breanne?
Yeah, so today we are making a cranberry almond cookie, and that's going to be infused with our sweet citrus positive energy tea.
Okay.
So think a lot of times at Christmas time, we think about peppermint, we think about chocolate. Those are like very common flavors, but you know, citrus and orange is definitely a very traditional flavor. If you've ever seen Little Women and, you know, getting oranges in your stocking. And so, yeah. So we're bringing that sort of bright, crisp flavor to these cookies. This tea has eleuthero root in it, so it's got a little bit of that nice uplifting energy from the Siberian ginseng. It's got yerba mate. So it's really going to be, if you're brewing it on its own, it's a great tea for the morning or early afternoon. But some of that tangerine oil, the orange oil, and the orange peel really give it that that citrus flavor that's really unique. So
are you telling me you're going to make me a cookie that actually is good for me as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just you can have as many of these cookies as you want. Just, you know, that I'm sure that's what
Breanne said it was good for me, so I'm all good.
Exactly. You got the Breanne seal of approval. Well, we're going to start by using 2 tea bags, and you're going to boil it over 100 mils of water. I know I've heard you talk about this often before as well, but just making sure that when we have tea, we're using the correct amount of water that's indicated on the box, because then you're really going to get the flavor profile that was intended. A lot of times we have this huge mug of coffee, or sorry, not of coffee, but a coffee mug, and it's going to dilute the flavors. So definitely follow the instructions. For this recipe, we're going to use 2 tea bags and 100 mils of water.
Okay.
So I'll do that here, and you're going to have that sit for about 10 minutes. Let that infuse.
Okay, so extra strong.
Extra strong, yeah. Okay. You can already kind of see the color changing, and you're getting those really beautiful smells. I think it's another part of brewing a cup of tea is it's a mindful moment in its own. You might be having crazy kids running around the house, or you might have a really stressful week with work meetings, but there's really something about being able to just boil water, grab a cup of tea, or grab a tea bag, and that whole sensory experience around it, I think, is so beautiful. And this tea especially has just a fantastic smell. So we'll let that sit there. In the meantime, we're going to mix our rolled oats. I've pulsed these in the food processor. So they're about a fine powder here, and I'll mix them into this bowl. Next up, we've got spelt flour. So spelt is an ancient grain. I think it's gotten more accolades over the years, but it's got a really nice nutty flavor to it. So that's really going to complement with some of the other nuts that we're using, and then the orange citrus flavor of the tea as well. So we'll put that in.
Okay. So we've got oats and spelts and good for you tea. I see nothing bad in these cookies.
Right? There's nothing. And we're just going to keep going, and you're just going to keep thinking all those wonderful things as we add more things in. I'm going to grab a spoon here. Okay, so we're going to mix that together. I've got some ground almonds that I'm going to mix in, about half a cup of ground almonds as well. Delicious. And I saved you all the having to listen to my food processor over
Grateful.
This.
Thank you.
So I've got another cup, half a cup of ground almonds of chopped almonds. You could chop them by hand, or just a couple pulses in the food processor works too. Mix that in. So you're really getting a fiber-rich cookie too as well, which is great. We've got half a cup of cane sugar, which we're gonna put in there. And then a quarter cup of dried cranberries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that cranberry, the orange, that's what's really going to give it that beautiful, beautiful bright flavor. And so we've got all of our dry ingredients. This is a very simple recipe too. Speaking of crazy kids, I made this on the weekend with my kids running around the house and got rave reviews. So I can say it's not overly complicated, and do your kids
drink tea?
They do. I feel like my 5-year-old is a little bit, has his own opinions on things, but my youngest, my 2-year-old does. And yeah, I think it's just something that if you can incorporate those flavors, those benefits from an early age, it's even better.
You have your 2-year-old drinking tea. I love it.
Iced tea or tea with an ice cube in it, but it's still tea, right?
Listen, I mean, we all started with this much milk and this much tea, right? And it's sort of changed. And you guys have some fabulous herbal teas, so you don't even have to worry about the caffeine portion of it. So why not? Good habits.
Exactly. Start it young, I think, right? That's for all of those types of things with kids.
That's it. Yeah.
So now we're going to add in our wet ingredients. We've got some, how much is this? Half a cup of coconut oil, melted. Nice. So just make sure these cookies are vegan too. If you have any dietary restrictions with guests coming over or anything like that. Baking powder, that needed to go in as well. That's going to help. Crucial ingredient there. Yep. And then we're going to mix in our tea. So once you've had that sitting for about 10 minutes, it's going to have this really nice orange. It's tough to see it on it, but it's got a really it's like beautiful orange color to it. And we're going to mix that over top. And your mixture is going to get nice and wet and malleable to form into cookies.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So no egg in this cookie.
No egg in this cookie. No. So we are at Yogi. We're a vegan company, and so all the recipes that we create and all of our teas as well are vegan. Yeah. So accessible for anybody who may be coming to your doorstep on this holiday season.
I love that. And I think that, vegan cooking, vegan cookies, vegan whatever has, it's come such a long way, because it's not, years ago it was, people would turn up their nose a little bit and think, it's not real. And what did you make? But I honestly think that 99.999% of the time, if you put a vegan product, like a vegan cookie, if it's done really well with really good ingredients, which is what you're doing, you can't tell the difference. You honestly can't.
No, you can't. I mean, I think there's ways exactly to make, and just, it's nice to have something in your back pocket that even if you aren't necessarily, if you don't have that dietary restriction or dietary choice, it's nice to have something that's like, I have a great go-to cookie recipe, or I have a great go-to appetizer, or whatever it is that you want to bring to make everyone feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now that that's all mixed in really nicely, we're going to form it into balls. You could just use a regular spoon. I've got
ice cream scoops are the best for forming. The best.
It works every time.
Yeah, honestly, everybody, if you're watching right now and you make cookies and don't use an ice cream scoop, please go get an ice cream scoop. It'll change everything that you do. It makes life so much easier.
It does. It really, sometimes it's just about finding those little efficiencies that make things a little bit simpler. So I mean, I think one of the things that we talk about a lot at Yogi too is really kind of ensuring from the entire speaking about inclusivity and making everyone feel welcome is really about making sure that from that grower who's harvesting the cinnamon or the cardamom or whatever botanical that we've got, all the way to the person at the other end of the cup who's drinking that tea. There's a lot that happens between those two experiences. And so we talk a lot about how we can link those two together and ensure that we feel that everyone throughout the entire supply chain has been really taken care of and has the values that we align, so that's they're getting a fair wage, but that grower, but they also are feeling comfortable in their what they need from their family. In 2018, we opened the first LEED certified tea facility in the world. So from a production standpoint, we're making sure that when these tea bags are going into production, they're also very much care and consideration is going into every step along the way. And then that the person who's consuming it on the other end knows that you've got, of course, a flavor that tastes amazing and a function of whatever that happens to be. In this case, you're getting the energy, but they also feel comfortable with the entire experience and know that everyone's been treated fairly along the way.
Yeah, and I think it's wonderful when you can marry all of that together, create a fabulous product, but also, link up the supply chain and do all of the right things. For those of you watching, Yogi Tea was the winner of the Sustainability Awards at our North American Tea Conference in 2023. You can go onto our website at tea.ca. Click on the left-hand side, go to sustainability, and you can read about not just the initiative that Yogi Tea won for together with Sarwate in Rwanda, but also all of the other fabulous initiatives that so many of the tea companies around the world are a part of.
I think it's great to see more and more companies. The more folks do this and the more folks prioritize it, the better it is for everybody. So I think it's really everyone wins in the end.
Absolutely.
When we start to do this, it's not really one person standing out. It's let's all do this together and prioritize this as a team.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what I've done here is I have flattened down the cookies just with a fork. They can go into the oven just like that. And I've made a few here, so we don't have to wait to see the final product. I won't keep you on the edge of your seat. And yeah, they're just a really gorgeous, very similar to an oatmeal type of a cookie, and with that great tea infused orange flavor that's coming through.
Delicious.
Through the tea.
Yeah. That is fantastic. I would probably make the same tea to dip it into. So really nice combination. And I really like that you've used, orange and other flavors, holiday flavors that, we also associate with the holidays, like the orange and the citrus, kind of like Stephen did with his punch. He kind of used those similar flavors too. But there's such a broad array of flavors that we can use in the holiday season, and so many wonderful teas that can infuse inside of it. So thank you so much, Breanne, for sharing.
Thank you very much. I hope, I hope this whole series just inspires everyone to find a little bit of a way to bring tea into their lives, into another way, because I know it's done that for me. So thank you very much for having us and for setting this all up and inspiring us all.
Well, thank you, Breanne. It's that message is exactly what we try to get everybody to think of as well, is that, this is a wonderful way to have tea, but thinking of it as an ingredient is another way of just bringing more loveliness into our lives and into our everyday and into our cooking and baking and mocktails and cocktails and cold drinks and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you. It was lovely having you on for your first event. I hope that we'll see you again at another one. Holidays.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will be back. Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Good. Well, thanks again, Breanne. Happy holidays to you. And Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Take care. Bye. All right. So I should say, and I'll repeat this again, but obviously, these sessions are all recorded, so you can go back and you can watch them. But on our YouTube channel, when you click down underneath, you will see all of the recipes. So you don't need to sit and furiously be writing everything down, because obviously I hope that you're going to go try these recipes and try these wonderful ideas that are being shared with us. But all of the recipes will be shared, and all of our guests have been very generous to share their recipes with us. So with that, I am very happy to introduce the wonderful, the fabulous, the beautiful Rikko Osaki from Hokusan Tea Canada. Rikko is a certified Japanese green tea advisor, and she is the founder of Hokusan Tea Canada. Last year, the company won first place for their Japanese tea at the North American Gold Medal Tea Competition. Rikko has a lifelong passion for quality tea. It's not just a beverage, it's a whole experience and a bona fide ritual that brings a special vibe to people's lives. And there's
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Do you like my
Look at my
ugly
Merry,
Christmas
Merry
sweater?
Christmas.
Yes. Festival all the way.
You are as festive as one can possibly be. You're always a delight. Okay, so Rikko, you are making, you're going to make for us a beverage that is, for some reason, we only drink it over the holidays. I don't know why, but we do. It's not an all winter thing. It's only a holiday thing. And I think it's something that people either really love or they really hate. I find it's a very polarizing beverage. But I will add that I think that if you've had a good version of this, and there are differences, then you fall very quickly into the love category. I think that people that hate it have had really bad versions. So I am talking about eggnog.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So tell us
so-
about your eggnog.
So personally, I don't really like eggnog,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't grow up as eggnog in Japan. I find it very, very, very sweet.
Yeah.
So today I wanted to mix this eggnog with our ceremonial grade matcha eggnog is quite sweet.
Yeah.
Matcha has this strong flavor of a little bit of bitterness compared to obviously eggnog. So
Yeah.
it would balance out and create beautiful harmony today.
Okay.
First of all, wait, I wanted to let you know, since this is entertaining with tea,
What do you have there?
this is matcha ornament.
Oh my gosh. did you
Yes, I got it in Collingwood this past weekend.
That's fantastic.
So we have a matcha tree, of
Perfect.
course, and
Perfect.
I also
Of
baked.
Of course you have a matcha tree.
Exactly, yeah, naturally, right?
Of course.
And we also have matcha cookie because I wanted to go all the way. This is with roasted pistachio with white chocolate.
Nice.
And just on time, my girlfriend from France sent me this matcha flavor perfume.
Oh,
I know.
what does that smell like?
It smells like matcha. It smells very strong. Yes, it smells like beautiful green tea, actually. Very refreshing, though.
Okay.
Yes.
What will they think of next? Alrighty.
Okay, so
yeah.
I
So,
wanted.
Just really quickly with the cookies. Did you make the cookies?
No, it's my clients. It's called Night Baker. They have 2 locations in Toronto.
Okay.
And
So
yeah.
I think that I'm not a big fan of white chocolate
Mm.
unless it's with matcha.
Ah.
I think that matcha and white chocolate, they were meant to always be married together. They
Yeah.
perfect combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this also gonna be perfect combination now.
Okay. Tell us how you're gonna make this.
Yes. So I'm gonna introduce you a little bit what we're gonna be adding. I have this little bit of candy cane crunch
Okay.
today.
Nice.
Of course, for holiday. I mixed a little bit of nutmeg and cinnamon powder together.
Perfect.
And I will be using our ceremonial matcha today from Niju. This recipe, though, I am making one with matcha, but you can also alternate it with roasted matcha as well.
Okay.
Both of them work. If you don't like matcha flavor, some people don't. They prefer roasted. It also works very well with eggnog. Also.
Okay. Don't rush. Tell people what roasted matcha is.
Yeah, so when you roast matcha or roast green tea, the caffeine level goes down quite a bit, about 60 to 80% goes down. So it's known as Japanese afternoon tea. So it's not as caffeinated. It also has this chemical compound called pilogen, makes you feel very calm and warm. So it's a very popular drink in Japan around fall and winter time when weather start getting cooler and people want to feel like cozy blanket. Yeah, so our sales for roasted matcha goes up in wintertime, and then matcha.
What happens to the flavor of a roasted matcha?
It gets very toasty, nutty, roasty flavor,
Is
not
it kind
as
of like
punchy
a
as
hojicha?
matcha. Yeah, it's a hojicha powder.
Hojicha. Okay.
It's exactly same thing, but powder version.
Perfect. I
Yeah,
love that.
and it has people who don't like matcha. If they try this one, they're like, oh, it's more cocoa, almost like a coffee flavor compared to
Yeah.
matcha size. So it's completely different flavor. And if it's less caffeinated option, if you're looking for more alternative option, yeah.
Okay, love it. Okay, so
we're going to be using this Niju matcha. We will be adding about 5 gram of matcha. I usually recommend 4 gram, 2 gram for straight, 4 gram, you want to double it for latte, but this time because eggnog is quite strong flavor and a lot of sugar inside, we're going to add up to 5 gram.
Okay. Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. You know, I feel like I talked about this last Christmas as well, but holiday season can get quite stressful. You have to, you know, shop for family, friends, and catch up and work and that, and a lot happens. And the philosophy of Japanese green tea is about cutting all those noise outside, especially in this stressful end of the year season. You can have cup of matcha and, you know, keep yourself grounded. Matcha contains a lot of L-theanine that makes you feel very calm.
Yeah. Just watching you do that is calming.
Mm-hmm.
It's for, you know, Breanne mentioned this as well, you know, when she was infusing the herbal tea that she used, you know, just the smell can be calming. And you know, if any of you who are interested, if you take a look online for tea meditation, you'll find a conversation with Thich Nhat Hanh. And Thich Nhat Hanh was I say was because he passed away a few years ago, but he was a fabulous, really wonderful monk from Vietnam, I believe he was. And he talked about tea meditation and about how to meditate, how to use the very act of making tea as a piece of meditation during your day. So as you say, you know, taking that moment of, in the stress and the craziness of, you know, the holidays that we have, but, you know, taking that time to be calm and mindful, and we only need a few minutes. We don't need hours of, you know.
It's true. That mindfulness of choice you make.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We had a holiday, Hokusan team holiday dinner last night, actually. And we stopped at my sensei. She's 96-year-old tea master in North York. We stopped at her house to say hello, and she made us a bowl of tea. She did the whole tea ceremony for us.
Oh, wow.
And we were not allowed to talk. 3 of us are sitting on tatami like this. And she said, you don't need to talk. We just listen to her water kettle boiling. And she's like, listen to the water, look at the calligraphy, look at the flower arrangement, and just use different sense to bring yourself and connect with yourself. And it was, you know, it was a very calming experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, it's, again, it doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, you can obviously go through a big long ceremony, but just the very act of, you know, whisking a little bit and taking 60 seconds, 1 single minute out of your day is sometimes all you need to reset.
Yeah, exactly. So now I whisk this beautiful matcha. I don't know if you can see, but yes. I actually cooled down the matcha. You want to make sure the matcha cools down. I used hot water right now to whisk, but when you're mixing with eggnog, you want to cool down the matcha. So I pre-made matcha already put in the fridge.
Oh, look at that color.
I'm going to be adding matcha for, also I forgot to tell you. Sorry. I added this nutmeg and cinnamon powder into matcha pre-made already. I like adding extra spices in wintertime. So you can sprinkle as a decoration as well. But when I was adding matcha, I can also add nutmeg and cinnamon.
So you whisked that in with the matcha. Okay. So what you're pouring in is already the mixed spice. Okay, I've never thought about that. See, I learned something every single time. I'm writing that one down. Okay.
Then I'm adding matcha here. And you want to be using about 150 ml of eggnog.
Okay. Oh, I love the color.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be adding some whipped creams, always as holiday special.
Decadence.
Yes.
Love it. Love, love, love.
And I'm going to be sprinkling some of the candy canes.
Okay, now that's entertaining with tea. The colors, the flavors.
I found this little candy cane as well.
Perfect.
And this is matcha eggnog.
Delicious. I love it. What does your mom say? Very bright? Merry bright?
Yes, merry and bright.
Merry and bright. Well, tell us what it tastes like, because I just
See,
have to...
It's not too sweet now because I added matcha, so it balances out that sweetness, and it's like perfect harmony.
I love that. And you know what? I think that that's exactly what people, when they say they really don't like eggnog, it's because it can be very sickly sweet.
Yeah.
So there are only two ways of going about that. You either mix it with something like you've done to add another layer of flavor, or you just make your own eggnog, which is a whole other, whole other world, which I'll share with everybody. We actually have an eggnog recipe that we do. So delicious. And
lastly, if you want to make it extra festive, you can also add whiskey, scotch, or frangelico. I like to add. We'll make it extra festive. I knew you would appreciate this.
I love that. I say this all the time. We think of like frangelica, Bailey's, Tia Maria. We think of these as coffee liqueurs.
Yes,
except that they're not coffee liqueurs, people. Okay, stop calling them coffee liqueurs. They're creamy liqueurs that work so well in lattes, eggnog, that we can mix with tea. So love that combination. Thank you, lovely, lovely, lovely Rikko. I wish I could share that with you, but I can't. So I'm going to get my cup of tea, but I will definitely be repeating that one as well over the holidays. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Thank you for your festivity.
Thanks for having us.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Safe travels. I know you're going back to Japan for the holidays.
Yes, I'll send you the picture from the tea farm.
Oh, yes, please do.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Rikko. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Bye. Oh, how delicious. I wanted to add something because I said earlier when Breanne was on that, we've got all the good ingredients and, there haven't been any bad ones yet. And as she was making, I was thinking about what I just said, and I want to retract that because there are no such thing as bad ingredients. And I think that we all need to have a healthier relationship with food and ingredients. And everything is about moderation. And if you can't enjoy some decadence and indulgence over the holidays, well, then what really is the point? That's what I would like to say. So I just wanted to correct myself for all of you and tell you that there's no such thing as any bad ingredients, okay? Enjoy them without any guilt. And with that, I would like to introduce our next guest, Nadia de la Vega of DAVIDsTEA. Nadia, again, has been on our sessions, our live streams, our events numerous times and shared delicious recipes. She is a tea connoisseur at DAVIDsTEA and director of tea sustainability and content. She's been with the company since 2012, starting in regulatory before moving on to tea information, marketing, tea content, training, and finally sustainability, and a fellow lover of tea. Hi, Nadia. How are you?
Hi, Shabna. So nice to see you again and say hello to everyone.
You too. I haven't seen you in a while, actually. It's nice to see you.
I know. It's really nice to see you.
Yeah.
And thank you for that kind introduction.
Oh, please. It's just a little of all the things that you do. So for that, I'm always grateful.
So a little bit of everything, basically. Everything in tea.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's wonderful. So listen, I'm really curious about you're doing 2 recipes for
I'm
us.
doing 2 recipes.
And I don't know if these have alcohol in them or not. You're going to tell us in a minute. But I'm quite intrigued by the G&T.
Oh.
And the second one that you're doing is an apple ginger mule.
Yes.
I'll tell you why I'm intrigued with the G&T is because I am going to be testing out a recipe for making my own non-alcoholic gin. I don't know if this is the route that you're
So
going.
you need to just use our tea. Because the recipes are non-alcoholic, and it's our new gin and tonic tea.
Oh my goodness.
It's on a green tea base. There's coriander, there's orange peel, there's ginger, there's juniper berries. It's such a well executed
It's
tea.
everything.
When you smell it,
Yeah.
you know it has all the botanicals that you expect from gin, and the balance is really, really great. Because in gin, there's a lot of there's coriander, there's sometimes cardamom,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of aromatic citrus.
Yeah.
So we have those there, and I kid you not, I've served this as a dupe in the middle, not in the beginning of like a dinner, but in the middle,
and
people
knows.
didn't nobody knows.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you're gonna make 2 mocktails for us. And,
Yes.
Okay. So before you get started, I just want to say to everybody that's watching and listening, pay attention to these. Because, and again, I don't know how you're going to make them and what you're going to do, but what I was really intrigued by, and I was hoping they were going to be non-alcoholic, is that there are so many people right now in North America, Canada, the US, in Europe, etc., that are opting for no alcohol.
Yeah.
And if you go to a party, if you go to an event, if you go to a dinner, whatever it is, and you are not drinking alcohol, that doesn't mean that I want to be treated like a 5-year-old and be given a sugary beverage as an alternative.
A Shirley Temple. I hate when they offer that.
Right?
No.
You still want to be treated like an adult with complex flavors. So I've talked enough. Tell us what you're making.
So 100%. I think that even if you're not trying to completely give up alcohol, I think a lot of people want to maybe decrease or find healthier options out there. And like you said, we really want something exciting. You don't want to have something like sugary, like a Shirley Temple, because normally that's kind of what people used to offer. So I think with tea, you can add such a layer of complexity. Tea on its own, whether it's matcha or something like an oolong, it already has so much complexity and flavor. So it's a great base to create beverages, period. I love pairing like black tea, like something like lapsang, to be reminiscent to a like smoked whiskey or a mezcal. But in this case, we're using a blend of green tea, and it has really beautiful botanicals. It's really, honestly, I think our R&D team did such an excellent job, because as soon as you smell it, it is reminiscent to like opening a bottle of gin and really having all those botanicals, kind of the aroma of the botanicals, and there being citrus in the background, and it's just really well balanced. It's just they did wonderful.
So I can't wait to get my hands on it. So I will definitely grab myself some.
And I'm one of those that kind of I love wine. That's kind of how I started in my tea journey. I started through like I've always drank tea, but then I did more studies on wine, and then when I continued my studies on tea, I'm like, I saw so many parallels.
Yeah.
So by no means I'm like, no, drink alcohol, but
No.
I do like to have other options.
Yes.
Out there. So I think that this is great. So it's our gin and tonic tea. What I did, I already steeped it just because I didn't want to take too much time. But what I do, and this is something that I've talked to you before. Yeah. When I'm making cocktails, I make stronger tea. Right? You don't want to dilute the flavor, because if you use the same amount that you're going to use for a regular cup, it's going to dilute once you add ice and cool it down. So I always use 2 perfect spoons of our DAVIDsTEA perfect spoons in 4 ounces of water. So it's very little water. 4 ounces is half a cup of water.
Okay, so
So it's
you're
very concentrated.
You're more than doubling the strength of that.
Yes.
I mean, that's almost 4
Yes.
times, isn't it?
It's almost 4 times. It's 4
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
Because normally I would recommend 1 perfect spoon
Yes.
for a large cup. So yes,
Right,
here
right.
you're, and it comes out pretty strong.
Yes. Yep.
So
That's
I
okay.
I
Yep.
do, yeah. And you want that, right? Because
Yes.
even when you're making any type of cocktail, the strength is in the alcohol.
Yeah.
But here it's in the tea.
It's
And
in the
one
flavor.
of the it's in the flavor. And what we've done, apart from our R&D team developing this amazing blend, is we partnered with Fever Tree. I don't know if you're familiar.
Of course.
I'm sure
yes.
everyone has seen. They
Yeah.
do premium tonics or premium drink mixers, and what
Yeah.
I love their slogan of like 1/3 of your drink is the mixer, so why not make it like the highest quality?
Why not
And
make a good one? They do a really good ginger ale as well.
yeah,
Really.
so the next one that I'm gonna do features that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so for this one, I've made it with many of their Fever Trees, but the one that I think fits the best with our gin and tea is the tonic water, Mediterranean tonic water, or their Indian
Okay.
tonic water.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so then we make our tea. I've already steeped it so that it's
Yep.
cooled, so that it doesn't dilute with ice. And this drink is so easy. You just need ice.
Yeah.
I have my nice
Perfect.
large goblet.
Perfect gin and tonic glass.
Yes. I have a little bit of a setup here, so okay. And then I fill with ice.
Yep.
Then I'm using the standard measurements for a gin and tonic. It's normally 1.5 ounce of gin. So I'm going to do 1.5 ounce of tea.
That's perfect because you're honestly treating the gin, the G and T, the tea. You're truly treating it as if it were, a regular gin.
Exactly, and that's what the beauty of this drink. And then you just add the Mediterranean tonic water. That, like I said, the flavor in this one with our gin and tonic really, really makes it seem as if there was alcohol in here, but when in fact there's none. So it's a great drink, after you had your first drink and then you're like, I just want to keep drinking something flavorful, but not necessarily keep drinking alcohol. This is a great option for those. I'm that type of person. I start with like a nice drink, and then I still want to have a nice beverage, but not necessarily keep consuming alcohol.
Well, and that's it. You still want complexity in what you're tasting, right?
Yeah, and then I add a lemon, and because it's the holidays, but honestly, because of the aromatics, I like to add some rosemary. You can also add some thyme.
Yeah.
So normally you give it a little to express.
Yeah. That's a perfect combination, and that just adds more of the botanicals, right?
Yes.
Gorgeous.
I don't know if you can see it there.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Love it. I'm gonna say cheers because cheers with tea. I wish you could. We'll see if we can send you some because it's such a beautiful blend.
I love that.
I hope
love it.
I hope none of my kids' teachers are watching because basically this is what I'm gifting them for Christmas. For Christmas.
Oh, is that what you're giving for Christmas?
Yeah, this with a Fever Tree and a little note on how to make it because I think it's such a great. It makes such a great gift.
It's absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah. Okay.
And the next one is, again, we partner with Fever Tree because I think we share a lot of similarities in the fact that they have a lot of sustainability entwined into their ethos of the brand. They really like working with ingredients and flavor and really finding the best possible balance. So when we first approached each other, I think we were like, yes. And we figured out that we both love each other's products.
Yeah.
So
you get
great.
each other. And that's a nice combination.
So the next beverage is and you can see how easy that is. I don't think I took no time. The next one is our apple ginger mule. And what I'm using here is our organic super ginger tea that we've carried. I can't remember how long. It's a rooibos base, so there's naturally a little bit of sweetness. It's caffeine free. I steeped it again, 2 perfect spoons, 4 ounces of water. Steep it for about 4 to 5 minutes, then cool it to room temp. And again, it's one of those drinks that's very easy. So again, I have my rocks glass.
I'm gonna walk with you, and this is the reality of being on live, everybody. I'm gonna walk with you for a minute because my iPad's about to lose battery.
Oh, that happened. Yeah.
And that can't possibly happen while I'm on with you.
So then I fill my rocks glass with ice.
Yeah.
I'm using tea as my alcohol substitute.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm using the same measurement, 1.5 ounce of the tea concentrate.
Perfect.
Okay. And then I'm going to use apple cider. I love apple cider during the holiday, but it's natural apple cider that you can buy at any type of supermarket.
Yeah. Love it. Again,
you use the same measurements, 1.5. Then this is the ginger ale that you were talking about. It's such a beautifully created, soda. And they really try to be careful with the amount of sugar that they use, which is something that.
So that's exactly what I was just going to say. I find that with their, call it ginger ale, but if you've ever had, regular, sorry, I'm in front of a lamp right now. People, this is what live means. This is what live means. Sorry. But, we just go with it. But what I love about their products, especially that ginger ale, is that it's not overly sweet and it's really gingery. It's what a ginger ale should be, right?
It is so good. I really enjoy it. They also have ginger beer. So you can use whatever you prefer. I find the ginger beer is stronger. This is more like sharper type of what you would expect of a ginger beer. And this is more of a true classic ginger ale. So then I mix it. If you want to be very festive, you can put some frozen cranberries inside.
Gorgeous.
I cut up some little apple slices like this, so that you can make it look cute. Because I add normally some fresh orange peel, but I didn't have any, so I'm gonna do it with a little bit.
Those. I love chewing on those.
And then I really like grating ginger on top, because why not have more ginger? Nadia just really likes her ginger.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm gonna. This is a hack. I don't know if people do this before they start zesting their ginger, but this is a nice way to remove some of the.
Yeah, that's actually a really good tip. For those of you that don't know what Nadia's doing, is she's using the edge of a teaspoon.
Yep.
Instead of a knife. So you just scrape. It's the best way to actually peel ginger.
And you don't waste a lot of it, because sometimes with a knife you can remove huge chunks, and you just want a little bit at the top. If I had fresh orange, I would kind of express it at the top. But this is to get a little bit extra.
Love that.
See the little.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And that's what we're saying. When you're looking for a non-alcoholic drink, you want something that's complex, that has a nice flavor, that you can keep enjoying and not feeling like I'm drinking juice.
Or worse yet, you're offered water.
Yeah. I think if you like ginger, I feel you're gonna like it, because
you
have all the layers of ginger. Because you have the super ginger tea, you have the ginger ale. The apple gives it a little bit of I feel apple during Christmas time, there's a lot of nostalgia, right? And apple cider. Yeah. And then afterwards you can eat those apples. It's gonna be delicious.
So apple cider, a jug of apple cider is the one thing that is always in my refrigerator in the month of December.
Me too. I always like to make hot apple cider.
Yeah.
With cinnamon and stuff. I will give it to my kids all the time.
Me too.
And the nice thing is, with these types of drinks, because if you're making a larger batch, then you can also give some to your with kids, because this is an organic, caffeine-free drink, so there's no need to worry about like, oh no, don't touch that, you know.
Yeah.
And that could be something good to
Lovely.
share during the holidays.
I love that. And you could, you know, when you're entertaining, I imagine that, you know, except for the tonic, and obviously, well, with the tonic, you're just mixing two parts. But with the one that you just made, you could pre-make everything in a pitcher and then pour that in with the ginger ale on top, right?
Exactly. Even with the gin and
batching.
tonic, you can because I was talking to someone and she was like, "Oh, I'm having a wine and cheese. How should I do it?" I'm like, brew your tea.
Yes.
Like at the same time you're preparing food, brew your tea, and save like a jug of it.
Yeah.
And then you're only going to be using 1.5 ounce per drink.
Yeah, exactly.
So you brew it, you keep it, and then that's like your drink. So you have you have a tray of the tonic waters, and then you can quickly and easily do drinks, and it's perfect for like parties or hosting, or you know, we're in times of inviting dinners and having people over. So I think it's a great option.
I love those options, and I love that you did something that is complex, interesting, and totally on point right now with what's happening in with consumers in general. So that's my thumbs up for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. It's lovely always to see you. And
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm definitely gonna get my hands on that gin and give that a try. I have a recipe that I was gonna try, but now I'm just gonna grab yours instead.
Yeah, but it's also good to try. I always say it's always fun to experiment, right?
Well, I think, yeah, for sure it is. I love experimenting, but I think that what's great is that you know, with something like this, as you said, you know, it's just a combination of botanicals, and that's why so many different brands of gin taste so different from each other, because it's about you know, botanicals that and you know, what measures of botanicals that have been used. So
exactly,
find what you love.
And even when you see, you know, there's so many different types of substitutes for gin.
Yes.
They focus on different types of botanicals or spices. So you need to find one that kind of suits your flavor profile. And for me, this is the true dupe of like what a typical gin would be like. Yeah.
Well,
thank you so
Merry
much.
Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. As always, really appreciate it. And it's really good to see you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Bye, Nadia.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Well, that's a lot of guests we had today, and a lot of really, really great recipes. We started with some alcohol. We moved into some food. We did some eggnog. We did some desserts, and we wound it up with some delicious non-alcoholic options. And I think that what's really fabulous about what every single person did was about, you know, integrating something different and something interesting and something unique, and celebrating at the end of the day the complex flavors of this wonderful world that we are all entrenched in, called tea. So for those of you listening, for those of you watching, for those of you that are gonna go back and rewatch this, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for taking the time. I've been reading some of your notes on the side here, and I see that some of you have been inspired by previous episodes of Entertaining with Tea, and maybe Iced Tea TV as well. I know that my sister has been inspired with Iced TV and makes her own iced tea now finally at home herself, with my delightful nephew Tristan, who I think is watching right now. So to all of you, I say have a wonderful week. I'm not going to say goodbye and happy holidays yet, because we still have a few weeks ahead of us. If you are watching this afterwards, please know, as I said, that the recipes are all listed below, and the recipes are given to us by all of our fabulous guests. I hope you try some wonderful things. I hope you experiment, and I hope you kick off the holidays with some wonderful entertaining. And even if you're not entertaining, do these things for yourself, because you're worth it. So thank you, and I will see you next week again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.